Today, we're reviewing the Vertx Everyday Fanny Pack 2.0 in collaboration with Lena Michalik, and we're going to talk about what makes it different from the original. As you can see, of course, they came out with some new colors. This is their Wolf Gray, so if you're interested in seeing all of those, I've linked this in the description below, but let's jump into the things that really matter. Vertx created this bag with concealed carry in mind. Now, this distinction from a kind of stylistic bag that you buy for going out is important because if it's not made with concealed carry in mind, it is probably not the most efficient bag you could carry for concealment. Before we get into the nitty-gritty of this bag, let's talk about 3 things I look for in a concealed carry bag. Number 1, there has to be a compartment that is completely separate from everything else in your bag, intended solely for your firearm. For example, in the bag, this back compartment is solely for my gun. There's nothing else in here, chapstick, wallet, nothing like that. Number 2, the gun absolutely has to have a hard Kydex or hard material cover that does not allow me to pull the trigger through the material. And number 3, it has to have a big tab. Reason being, if you are holding this and you have a ton of little zippers over here and you try to go to grab it to access it for your firearm, you may run into a few issues. And when time is of the essence, especially when doing off-body carry, we want to make it as easy as possible. When Vertx came out with the OG, I was already so impressed, so I was really curious to know what they changed for the 2.0, and that's what we're here to talk about today. So the first thing is the location of the strap itself. So as you can see, they slightly moved this strap from the top half portion of the bag to exactly in the middle. Now, this has helped with the retention of the bag on the chest when you go to pull it. At least personally, I have found that the bag tends to stay more centered as opposed to kind of flip up. So I actually appreciate this mild change. Even though it's a small change, it's made quite a big difference. Next is the fabric for the front portion of the bag. They've chosen a smoother and more reinforced fabric, so this one feels a little bit more tactical to the touch. This one's just a bit softer. Next is the zipper style on the front. You can see that they chose a more chic style where the fabric is kind of covering the zipper, whereas here the zipper is more exposed. Next is the rapid access tab. Now, they added this stock with the Everyday Fanny Pack 2.0. So when you order this, this comes in on the fanny pack already. And this makes it easier to, of course, index and find that, which we'll talk about the draw in a second. Before, you kind of had to find your own solution for this. And at the time, Vertx recommended I believe this is their medical rapid access tab, that's why it's red. And I don't know about you guys, but to me, this looks a little sus compared to the now sleek tab that has the little L on it for the collaboration with Lena Michalik that comes stock. The last feature worth mentioning is the red tab they added on the corner of this bag. This allows the bag to be drawn from either the position I have it in currently, where I reach around and draw down, or if I wanted to place both zippers here in the corner, I could place the pull tab on that red part, and then as I pull down, the bag opens and exposes the gun like so. While this isn't my preferred technique for drawing, it is an option. Now let's talk about technique when drawing from this bag. We'll start with our hands at the surrender position. From here, I'm gonna index at the bottom left-hand corner of the fanny pack. I'm gonna slide up and grab that quick access tab. From here, I'm going to drag it all the way down. And to avoid muzzling people to my left on the range, of course, I would take a step back to kind of face my target like so. But for today's purposes, I'm going to stay facing the camera. From here, I have my hand pulled to the side to prevent muzzling myself. I'm going to then drive my hand down into the bag like I would for deep concealment inside the waistband. From here, I'm going to draw, and then I'm going to meet my gun underneath like I would normally for an AIWB draw. To reholster, I'm going to make sure I open the bag completely. The muzzle stays in a safe direction. I inspect my holster. I'm going to go ahead and secure the strap on the left side, and then I'm going to reholster like so. While this is a completely unloaded firearm, if you are on the range and you are performing this with a live firearm, I highly recommend taking a step back to clear the path of the muzzle completely from your body. Before we conclude this video, I always like to mention that off-body carry poses the issue of what happens when you take the bag off. The goal is to make sure that this bag does not come off of you whenever you are in public. One way I like to wear this if I transition to a seated position and I don't want to have it across my chest the whole time is actually strap this around my waist For example, when I'm at a restaurant, this will be kind of below me, and if I need to, I can put it to my back, but the strap will always be connected to me so that it is never apart from me. It's incredibly easy to leave your things places, and you should not trust your firearm with just anyone. One last tip before you go: if you load the front pocket of the fanny pack with things like your wallet, your chapstick, your keys, or anything else you'd like to add, it will add weight, making it easier to have the bag fully open for you all the way when you go to dive your hand in. Now, I don't have a lot of weight there in the front right now, and this bag is fairly new, so it is a bit stiffer at this time, but the more weight in the front, the better the bag falls naturally. Then again, why would you put your keys in the front of the bag when you can easily clip it on the key clip on the buckle? If you've yet to see my overview of off-body carry, including some considerations for things like weapons-based entanglement, be sure to check that video out. I will link it here. If you've made it this far in the video, thank you so much for watching. To support the channel and to get 20% off of your everyday fanny pack, you can use code FITFORFIA20. That's FIT, the number 4, FIA20 for 20% off. In the meantime, I'll see you in one of these videos.